So here we are sitting in the Guy Hilton Gallery with my great friend Micaelef, who has come here today to air his views and where he's going, basically. So Micaelef, I've known you for a few years now, and it's great to be here.
The
usual crowd. Have you got anything coming up for a start in future work or?
Yeah, next on Friday I'm doing a show in memorial to Richard Martin, and I've got art pops in there, which is all the scroungers in the art world in London. They're all in there with a Union Jack around them.
Right. Yes, because Richard sadly passed away. Well, a good few weeks ago now, wasn't it? And quite suddenly. But, so that's a nice thing to do anyway. What other plans have you got at the moment?
I just got a phone call, and on Sunday I'm doing songs with Rex Nemo, the band.
Oh, right.
Halloween songs. You want me to write some for that, so I just scribble them out.
Yeah, that's cool.
That'll be over by the No2 Gallery, Commercial Road.
Oh, right, yes. Absolutely. So, yeah, it's one to go along to. Well, both are, actually. So what brings you to here, anyway? What's this, the wonderful journey of Micaelef? You're now sitting in the Guy Hilton.
Well, I got a phone call. This is the annoying thing about phone calls. I was raking the garden of leaves, it being autumn, and in the middle of making jams and jam, plucking the berries off the tree and boiling them. And then I rushed over here and the jam got burnt. And Nick, Helen's dad, was found the next day hammering the saucepan. It's now totally buckled.
Oh. Right. So no jamming.
Well, burnt jam.
All right. Okay.
And a banjack saucepan.
Yeah. It's a big copper saucepan. Yeah, we used to make jams and jam.
But but the poetry, has this always been a thing in your blood and you're in love, or is it just something that's developed over the years? You were at Oxford,
it started in Oxford because I used to write songs which rhymed.
Whoa, yes.
Yeah, heaven forfend.
Yes.
And after the first 100 people said you're a poet, you lose your last vestiges of blushing. And so I just wrote poems. But nowadays I write them much more quickly and thoughtlessly.
Yes, and I mean I've heard many of your poems, and I love the one earlier you read, the Troubadour. That's beautiful.
I've heard some of your poem goes on TV.
Some do, yeah. I read in the newspaper it said, open access, free. Who the deuce watches this programme? I was very proud of that. Normally my poems are read on the top of roofs and with trees blustering and twigs blowing into you. And so my voice, it does carry, but it carries away from the camera somewhere else.
Yes. One thing I have to ask you, the Red you ended up on that, didn't you? The Red Dwarf series.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I had to wake up with a colossal hangover, and I got a all-zone travel card, which I knew would take me to Kingston, but then the train went on and on and on, and I knew this wasn't going to work. I just started seeing cornfields everywhere, and that's Shepperton, but it was twice the journey. And I had, from my party the night before, I had lots of Christmas pudding in my hair, because we had a Christmas pudding fight. And I had these women nourish it out of me and make me basically into ZZ Top. I look much like Rasputin with Christmas pudding on me now.
As one does. Yes.
But I came out of the cupboard on Red Dwarf, and I wasn't allowed to wear my spectacles, and the lights were bright, and I think I looked rather sheepish, like that bit, But they said to me, Abraham Lincoln said to me, he said, just say guards, guards, and you get double the money. And I just thought, how vulgar.
Was that your? Was that the whole piece saying guards, guards?
No, no words. I was a silent Rasputin, but if I had spoken on TV, you get double.
Yeah. Was that the end of your TV career?
That was
really?
completely ended after that.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, except for I'm now in TV again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But this is it's a serious
Yeah.
documentary.
But if
we're
you
making.
tell anybody you're a TV presenter, they want to kill you anyway. They hate TV presenters.
Yeah.
Everybody in Britain's a TV presenter, just like everybody in Shoreditch is a DJ.
Yeah, maybe I should give up then now while the going's good.
You're a celebrity dog walker.
No, absolutely.
Oliver, you must have a question to ask to
I've got
Micaelef.
several questions been going through my mind. I don't know where to begin. Tell me a little bit about how you came to edit Sniffing Glue.
Well, I'd given up music because I found it boring at the end of the world shows, as they were in the suburbs. I used to get to about 4 to 5 gigs a week in London. You know, I used to go to the hippie things, you know, the free Black Hill Enterprise shows at Hyde Park, and you'd come out and the pigs would search you, and they'd find big bogies in the hanky your mother gave you. And hello, what's this? Yeah. And so by '76 I was thoroughly bored, but I'd had a vast record collection, and you know, it was famous amongst my friends and people like Mark P, who are old school friends, and Danny Baker, and Mark P asked me to. He said, "If new things come up, let's do it." And he said he was doing a magazine, and I went, "Oh God, here we go."
One of those.
Yeah, and it started off in black and white, and when I came in, it was photographs, and it just built up. And I came in at issue number 3, and they chucked me out in the end for being in love.
In love?
In love, yeah. It's actually a picture of me with a girlfriend looking like an insurance agent at the Roxy Club. They go, "Steve, Mick, sacked for being in love." I thought, that's fine. How can you be sacked when you've never been paid? And
That happens to me once, actually.
and we had offices which were run by the CIA, and in Oxford Street, very posh Oxford, which artists took over after us, a very famous artists there. We used to write on the walls, and the CIA used to ring from America. This was the drummer of the Police's relatives in America.
Summer. Copeland.
Copeland.
Stuart
yeah.
Copeland.
Stuart Copeland.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, Copeland's relatives were the head of the CIA at the time, and they'd ring up our offices, and I'd go do the clangers. Go, "Beep, beep." They go, "Who the fuck is this?" And then I was
clanger
playing music
impersonator,
about, yeah, no one talks to the CIA like you. So they didn't really like me. You know, we didn't gel. But I gave people like the Jam their first interview, and drunk them under the table, and it got them to riot. Actually, I got a riot in Ronnie Scott's car. I said, "Look, punks don't like you. You wear a suit, they're not into suits. Could you smash something up?"
Yeah.
So, all right, let's do it. They smashed a monitor, and we started pogoing, and all their local bass fans.
Was this Mr. Weller as well?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All the local bass fans, they bust them in from Woking, and they all started hitting all the punks and that, you know.
Brilliant.
And then Paul Weller came to me in the street. It was all spilt out in the street. It was like 20 people fighting in the street. And he came over and said, "Sorry about that, Steve." I went, "That's all right, Paul." And then his dad came over with a big box and went, "Sorry about that." I went, "No, it's great, it's great."
Well done.
And then he became mega famous because of that, you know.
Brilliant. Have you got any like big future plans?
I think so. I want to fill the turbine hall.
With what?
Well, water, of course. There's plenty of it in the Thames. You can be the
They've
swimming
got Thames
instructor.
specifically, Thames. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Sounds good, yeah.
Link it to the
Have
swimming.
make an Olympic swimming pool, because there are more Olympic swimming pools in Paris than all of Britain. So why not turn the Tate Turbine Hall into an Olympic swimming pool with an assortment of lifeguards and swimming instructors
And
from the London art world,
Sponsored by Micaelef.
sponsored by Micaelef.
But I also want to put 2 Concords in there and have them rubbing noses. Two Concords
Inuit.
rubbing conks. Yeah. Rubbing those little noses.
Micaelef, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close?
I'd just like to say I'm truly grateful to the French people.
Thank you.